Okay. Alrighty, we got 10 more seconds till kickoff. Very warm welcome to everybody. My name is Michal Szymanski. I'm going to be your MC for the day. And a very warm welcome from Mauritius to the African FinTech Olympics, which is being participated in some way and form by nearly 1,000 people from 67 countries around the globe. So a very warm welcome to everybody. And maybe just to set a scene from my side and to tell a little bit of the story of the journey that Mauritius has taken in not only building a local fintech ecosystem, but also integrating ourselves onto the continent through open collaboration and working with various ecosystems, not only in Africa, but the rest of the world. And for us, it's a privilege and honor to be able to host the first of event over the next 3 months, which culminates in the virtual hybrid event that you can join in person in Mauritius in mid-October. And the idea is to showcase African innovations to the rest of the world, and how can we work together for the benefit of the people on the ground using technology in the financial services space. So thank you very much for taking your time out to join us this morning. Thank you very much for all the speakers for joining us. I know some of you have logged in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. So Mauritius' journey into this space has been over a number of years, culminating 2 years ago when we joined the African FinTech Network, which I'll leave the privilege and honor of Doctor to explain a little bit more about. But the importance from Mauritius and for us for joining this the Association of Associations in Africa was so that we can truly share knowledge, understandings, learnings, understand various ecosystems better, so we are better able to integrate and the various solutions that do exist. So for us, it was a real honor to be nominated to the African FinTech Network. It was a real honor to be nominated to the board seat of the African FinTech Network, and it was an even bigger privilege to being awarded the right to host the African FinTech Festival in Mauritius. And we've got a lot of big shoes to fill. The previous edition was done in Kampala. So on the 5th of November 2019 was when this journey began. We were supposed to have it last year. Unfortunately, COVID happened, but now it's real, it's happening, and we are all systems go. So a very warm welcome once again from my side. A very warm welcome to everybody from around the world, the speakers, the numerous speakers that we have. And I will now hand over to we affectionately call him Dr. Segun, who's the president of the African FinTech Network, for his opening address. Thank you, and very warm welcome, Doctor, all the way from Canada and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you, Michal. Let me join Michal to welcome you all to the African FinTech Festival pre-event, which is hosted by our very active member organization, the Mauritius Africa FinTech Hub, on behalf of the African FinTech Network. Michal has already told you the history of the festival, which started in Lagos in 2018, and then we had the second one in Uganda, in Kampala, Uganda, 2019, hosted by the FinTech Association in Uganda, FISPA. The festival has been a platform to bring together thought leaders from Africa and beyond to provide solutions and suggestions, ideas on issues of innovation, technology, and support mechanism to advance the contributions of African FinTech ecosystem towards fast-tracking development of African economies. A lot of impact have been made as outcomes of the previous editions. These include increase in number of national FinTech ecosystem associations from 7 in 2018, when we started the AFN, to 33 countries today. Increase in number of African FinTech unicorns, especially in the last 2 years. Significant inter-country scaling of FinTech companies. Other noteworthy outcomes and impact include new partnerships, products, improved regulatory capacity, and ecosystem enabling projects, such as the African FinTech Radar, the first online real-time source of information on anything FinTech in Africa. As you probably know, the African FinTech Network, with our byline of Innovate Together, Advance as One, is the platform that unites African FinTech leaders, organizations, and stakeholders through their country associations for exchange of information and ideas to promote and support creation of innovative technologies and deployment across and beyond Africa. The network also promotes dialogue, advocacy, and interactions with regulators, policymakers, and other stakeholders. AFN membership is made up of national fintech associations of African countries, and we have 33 countries already onboarded as members, which comprise of fully and partly functional national fintech associations. Our goal actually is to onboard all the 34 countries in Africa by the end of 2022 as members of the AFN. I urge leaders of fintech ecosystem of countries in Africa yet to form a national fintech association to reach out, and we will be happy to support in creating a functional national association that will be beneficial to the ecosystem. As part of our core objective is to create equal opportunities for all fintech-related businesses and activities in our member countries and encourage collaborations and partnership within the network. African Fintech Network has a formidable list of partners, all of whom continue to provide support in various ways to achieve the aims and objectives of the network. I will especially acknowledge the support of the EcoBank Group, that's the Pan-African Bank, the African Development Bank, Semfree, Brandcoms, Afrexim Bank, CCAB, that is the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, Findexable, and other regional fintech networks across all continents and numerous others. I'm super excited at the lineup of speakers and panelists that will be sharing and exchanging perspectives on the theme fintech, sustainability, and innovation, the power trial to fast track and fast forward Africa's growth. This is really a prelude to the main 3-day festival, as mentioned earlier by Michal, which is coming up mid-October 2021 in Mauritius. Full details will be provided toward the end of today's event. Please stay tuned to the end and enjoy. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you much, Doctor, for the very warm and kind words. And it's been a good journey with it so far, and we look forward to, I think the goal is to have all 54 African countries part of the network, thereby representing the whole continent as a whole. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you much, Doctor. And thank you much for waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sir. Our next speaker today, unfortunately, couldn't join us directly, Emma from the British government. And the purpose of that was to highlight that even though we have participation and networks in Africa spanning 33 African countries at the moment, there's a lot of interest from abroad in what Africa is doing. One of the key partners that we work with is not only the UK, which we've done a lot of and do a lot of work on the ground, but also other embassies around the world who participate in various ways and means, from Switzerland to Singapore to Japan to Australia. And it kind of shows the interest that the rest of the globe has in what is happening on the continent and the type of innovations that are happening on this continent because of the certain unique conditions and challenges and opportunities that do exist. So let me introduce to you today Deepti from the Mauritian British High Com, who will do the introductions. Very warm welcome to you this morning, Deepti.
Thank you, Mix. Thank you for the introduction. So good morning, everyone. My name is Deepti Guhiram. I'm the DIT Country Director for Mauritius, and I'm based at the British High Commission here in Mauritius. A lot of you online today would have interacted with the department, while a lot of you might not know who we are. So the UK Department for International Trade is a ministerial department, and our main aim and responsibility is to help business export, to drive inward and outward investment, to negotiate market access and trade deals, and champion free trade. We've been created back in 2016, and since then we've had many milestones, one of which has been the Africa Investment Summit that happened in January 2020. And the other one was the Africa Investment Conference that happened earlier this year in January 2021. Back in January 2020, at the Africa Investment Summit, the UK government firmly reiterated the importance of deepening access to financial services. And the Africa FinTech Festival was an announcement of the UK government commitment to supporting this major event. Today, like you say, we cannot have in person Her Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Africa, Emma Wade-Smith, but she has made it a must to be amongst us through a pre-recorded video. So I'll leave it to Emma to tell you more about DIT mission and vision and how the UK government sees itself as a key partner for all countries across Africa for fostering the FinTech agenda forward. Over to you, Benazir, for the video.
Well, oh, there we go.
Today, 17% of all unbanked people on our planet today live in Africa. African countries are among the world's fastest growing internet markets, fueling a FinTech boom on the continent. And in 2020, African FinTechs were raising funds. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, $1.35 billion was invested in African FinTechs. Hello, everybody. I'm Emma Wade-Smith, and I'm Her Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Africa, and it's a real pleasure to be able to talk to you today. I'm sure many of us share the frustrations of not being able to be together in one place today. But actually, I'm really pleased that this event is taking place, and not just because it was one of the things we announced at the UK-Africa Investment Summit in January 2020. FinTech is a force for good, a massive driver of financial inclusion, the foundation for achieving many of the Sustainable Development Goals, and an enabler of so many other businesses, particularly those fast-growing SMMEs that are such a rich source of jobs and growth. FinTech is increasingly all around us. It is the future, and it is a particularly exciting future here in Africa. We have only to look at the fundamentals to see why. A population of 1.3 billion people today, expected to keep growing fast over the years ahead. That's a sizable consumer market by anyone's standards. And for financial services, the opportunities and growth potential are immense. 60% of adults in sub-Saharan Africa do not currently have access to traditional financial services, including banking and insurance. Over half of adult Africans now own a smartphone and have access to a 3G signal. Improving internet penetration rates and increased mobile connectivity are enabling and underpinning the expansion and adoption of FinTech, providing a catalyst for more consumer access to better products and services. And although the COVID pandemic has hurt every one of our economies, touched all of our lives, and disrupted many of our livelihoods, it has also sparked a dramatic leap forward in terms of the take-up and prospects for expanding FinTech. We have seen accelerated digital transformation with improved internet and connectivity. Today, over 10% of Africans get their financial services from mobile banking, and this proportion has grown exponentially since the start of the pandemic, which has turbocharged digital adoption. With even more of that on the way, thanks to the construction of new cables, more investments and new technology, we expect to see faster and cheaper internet coming to even more parts of this continent. We see in Africa an unprecedented opportunity for technology to expand access to financial services. We can look forward to increasing smartphone ownership and dropping internet costs. And this gives us the confidence that the FinTech boom we have in Africa will continue, boosted and bolstered by Africa's culture of innovation. I believe the UK can be a long-term committed partner in Africa's exciting FinTech journey, building from the transformational initiative of M-Pesa, which the UK government supported through seed funding back in the day. Through this and other initiatives, Africa is at the cutting edge of the mobile money revolution. Deepening access to financial services requires a whole team effort. Businesses and financial communities have to play their part. Government also needs to step up to establish and apply the legislation, regulation, and tax environment that enables and inspires the take-up of services and the development of innovations. In the case of the UK government, we believe we have created the legislative, regulatory, and financial environment that has helped to create one of the most innovative and dynamic tech ecosystems in the world, driving the creation of new financial services, healthcare, agriculture, education, and even smart city solutions. What's more, London is one of the deepest and most globally connected financial centres with unparalleled links across emerging markets. We're also supporting the development and strengthening of financial services around the world, including here in Africa. We have partnered with Kenya's Insurance Regulatory Authority to support Africa's first regulatory-led insurance incubator around financial inclusion, the BIMA Lab. And it's great to see Angola has launched its first regulatory sandbox recently. Fintechs in Africa have been raising funds. Much of this has gone to new fintechs in Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Egypt. It is clear that there is no shortage of talent and innovation all across this dynamic continent, including in Mauritius. Fintech is undoubtedly critical to our economic future. There is more work to do to ensure the benefits of fintech reach more parts and more people on this continent. So I'm really excited to see what more we can do here today to build on our successes so far, to connect more people, and to drive the partnerships that will create the future we want to live in. Thank you very much.
Perfect. A big thank you to Deepti and Emma for the message. And for me, there's a common theme and that we are hearing here, ladies and gentlemen. The common theme is here that we are working together. The opportunities and challenges do exist, cannot be tackled by a single individual. It needs an ecosystem that enables open collaboration to happen. And locally in Mauritius, one of the enablers of that was the Mauritian government, who this initiative would not have been possible moving forward. So it's a pleasure to introduce Faraz Rojid from the EDB today, who will be giving us his remarks.
Thank you, Mix. Thank you, Dr. Segun and Deepti as well for your welcome address. I will try to be short and sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Economic Development Board, which is the apex institution of Mauritius, I am honored to welcome all of you today virtually to this first part of the Africa FinTech Festival, which brings together the captains of the FinTech industry and the FinTech ecosystem. As you correctly pointed out earlier, Megs, hosting the Africa FinTech Festival 2021 is indeed a badge of prestige for Mauritius. And I would like to commend the Africa FinTech Network and the Mauritius Africa FinTech Hub for pioneering the organization of this landmark event. Amid these testing times, when, as we are aware, the entire world is grappling and fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. This pre-event comes at a very opportune time because as not later than last Friday, the government of Mauritius announced a panoply of budgetary measures in its speech to spur a wave of instrumental changes in the fintech ecosystem in Mauritius. But before I elaborate on those measures, allow me to give a quick introduction about Mauritius and the government's policies in accelerating the country's move to an age of digitally enabled growth. The past few years have witnessed a gamut of technology firms increasing their foray in financial services. We are, as I like to call it, the dawn of the digital renaissance. Post the COVID-19 maze, FinTech has reshuffled the financial services arena with profound digital revolution and innovation and adoption of remote services. By all accounts, FinTech has essentially transitioned from being what was a disruptive threat to being an acclaimed key enabler. If I may, the Mauritian FinTech industry gained momentum really in 2016 when the government introduced what we call the regulatory sandbox license. The sandbox was there for activities for which there were no regulatory framework in Mauritius. Therefore, it is worth sharing with the audience that since September 2018, the EDB, which used to be the quasi-regulator for FinTech sandbox in Mauritius, we have issued nine licenses for a diverse portfolio of FinTech projects, including ICOs, cryptocurrencies exchange platforms, digital wallets, crowdfunding platforms, and blockchain-enabled alternative securities platforms. As I mentioned earlier, aiming to become the fulcrum to lead innovative activities for the region, in the budget 2021-2022, the government has introduced a number of measures and legislations. To begin with, the regulatory sandbox license is now within the purview of the Financial Services Commission and the Bank of Mauritius. So they will regulate activities for which there is no framework in Mauritius when it comes to banking and non-banking. A single desk has been set up for all fintech related applications. The Bank of Mauritius and the FSC are setting up what we call fintech innovation hubs and digital labs. There is a new legislation for virtual assets which will be enacted shortly by the Parliament. The new legislation for virtual assets will also take into account the ever-changing landscape when it comes to anti-money laundering and combating of financing of terrorism activities. Mauritius will roll out its digital rupee, so it will be a central bank's digital currency on a pilot basis. And of course, we are introducing a dedicated QR code at the national level to facilitate digital payments. In addition to these measures, the government has opened up Mauritius to attract fintechpreneurs. You are now able to come, live, and work in Mauritius for a period of 10 years instead of a period of 3 years initially. And this is renewable. And once you have already done a specific period of time, you become a permanent resident in Mauritius. Over and above that, I'm cognizant of the fact that I won't be too long. Over and above that, with new technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence becoming the new norms, Mauritius has also enacted a number of additional enablers. We are the first jurisdiction, and it is a matter of humility, but also of kind of great pride that we were the first jurisdiction to come up with a license for custody of digital assets. So we have the custodian services digital asset license. We also have the digital asset marketplace license for exchanges. The government of Mauritius has clarified more on securities tokens offerings, STOs. And then we have introduced the financial services peer-to-peer lending rules, which provide a robust regulatory framework to support the offline execution of peer-to-peer lending activities. As you are aware, distinguished guests, the government of Mauritius has really recognized the digital revolution and the fact that it unfolds an opportunity to leapfrog traditional economies. So we are fully supportive of the Africa FinTech Festival, and we are here to make sure that it happens well. For today's virtual event, I encourage all participants to make this event as interactive as possible. At the level of the EDB, we also have a virtual booth, and we certainly look forward to fruitful engagements. Thank you for your kind attention, and over to you, Mix.
Perfect. Thank you much for your time, Faraz, and thank you very much to all the warm addresses. Thank you much, Deepti. Thank you, Faraz, and thank you much, Doctor. And maybe just to highlight 1 or 2 points, ladies and gentlemen. So if this is not the end, this is the beginning. Today, we do have a full lineup, which will be starting in a couple of minutes. There's no such thing as a silly question, so please participate. We're all learning. We're all going through this journey together as ourselves, as individuals, as companies, as corporates, as countries. You know, innovation is happening all around us. So please participate in some of the sessions today, and please participate and join us in October. 13th to 15th October is the main event. It is going to be a hybrid event, and what that means is that you can join us in person. We actually encourage you to join us in person. The borders should be open by that stage, and the EDB, which Faraz is from, has laid out some groundworks in terms of what is required, and all information is on the website, what that entails to be able to enter Mauritius, to be able to be a part of that festival in October. So outside of sunny beaches and getting business done, we look forward to seeing everybody being with us in October. A final little bit for me before we move on to the actual panel and hand over the baton in this marathon day out of the marathon next 3 months is, for us, this is not a chalk and talk event. We would like you to participate. If you would like to contribute in any way and form, from your skills, from a knowledge perspective, we encourage you to join us in October. From a learning perspective, to a couple of things that keep coming up as critical factors to developing fintech ecosystems within any jurisdiction around the world. One, which we're going to be, the most important one, is always regulation, and government's participation is critical to unlocking the growth of the sector in any economy around the world. But two is also around talent. So we encourage a lot of participation by the future workforce, so youth of the country, participation by universities and all the ecosystem stakeholders to be part of the journey with us. This is not a one organization event. This is not a one person event. This is a culmination and a combination of all of these various factors around the world. So when we talk and mention that there's 67 countries participating, we could not have been where we are today without everybody's participation, from the entrepreneurs on the ground to the youth of the country to the government, the regulators, and all the stakeholders of the ecosystem. That is the critical factor for success, working together through open collaboration. So being part of the African FinTech Network, having the UK government, having the Mauritius government with us on this journey is critical to the success of what we are trying to achieve. And what we are trying to achieve is not only the digitization of our local respective jurisdictions and economies, but also the enablement of allowing people to participate in the digital economy who have previously been disadvantaged through a number of reasons or factors, because that is what FinTech has the power to do. Every single industry and sector out there requires money to move a capitalistic system, requires money to move from A to B. So how do we make it better? How do we make it quicker? How do we make it cheaper so there's more money available for people on the ground? And that for us is what technology and FinTech is all about. It's a way that enables human beings' lives to be better. So with that, I'd like to thank once again all the opening speakers for their opening remarks. Please stay with us. If you do stay with us for the next 9 hours, we will be giving out special badges, and we will, if you join us in October, I'm sure there'll be special prizes awarded because it is a long time, and the time zones, I think we span today across 22 different time zones. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I hope you take advantage of what is to offer, and I hope that everybody and I hope we are able to convince you to join us in the journey moving forward and be here in Mauritius in October. Once again, thank you much to all the speakers, and we will be kicking off our next session in 2 minutes. Thank you for your attention. Thank you much, speakers.
Thank you, Michal.
Thank you, Migs.
Thank you, guys.